Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Jay Hendy, with another new video. And for this video, I'm going to be doing a story time for you guys. But before I get started, I just want to apologize for the lighting. I know it's kind of bad right now, but you know what? We're just going to deal with it. So, anyway, this story time is going to be about how I passed my driving test. And as I'm filming this video right now, I took my driving test 2 days ago. I know it's crazy, and I'm just really happy that I passed, and I'm sure you guys are like starting to drive right now or already driving, and I'm just gonna share with you guys like my experience taking my road test. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on with this story. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure like where to start, but I'm just gonna tell you guys. So I was originally supposed to take my road test in November, but then a few weeks prior to that, I really started freaking out because I just haven't been practicing. I haven't been practicing parallel parking, and I just really started freaking out because I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna do so bad. Like I haven't been practicing parallel parking as much as I should have, and yeah. But my brother and sister, they took their road test in November, and I didn't, because I didn't feel ready yet. So yeah, they took their test in November. And my sister passed the first time, and I was really happy for her, but unfortunately, my brother did not pass on his first time. I'm not going to say like what he did because he's my brother and I just want to like respect him. And yeah, I'm just not going to say like what he did. But then in December, when my brother was going to retake his test in December, I went with him. And I was telling my mom, like, oh, I don't think I'm ready yet. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just go with him when he takes his test, and I'll take my test at the same time, too, and see what happens. And, yeah, so I went with my brother, me and him. We took our test. I went first, and, yeah, I went first. I just wanted to go first to get it over with. And this was my first time taking my road test, so I didn't really know like what to expect. And the morning of my road test, I had to get up so early because this lady from one of the driving schools was coming to my house to pick me up like really early in the morning. So I was like really tired. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready. Like, let's do this thing. And I kept on waking up like every 2 hours. That was so weird. I remember I went to bed so early, and then I would keep waking up every 2 hours. Like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? But then, I just got in the car with the lady from the driving school, and I was on my way to the DMV, me and my brother, and yeah. So when we got there, we were the first car in line, and I decided to go first because I just wanted to like get it over with, and this was my first time taking my road test. So I get in the driver's seat, and I see the examiner coming towards the car. And then she's like, okay, we're just going to test your signals and make sure they work. So, I'm testing like the signals in the car. And you guys, it was snowing. I'm not kidding. Like, the first time I took my test, it was snowing. I am not kidding. And so, yeah, the examiner, she's just like writing down like on her paper. And then, yeah. Then, I don't know exactly. I don't know why I'm so nervous telling the story, but I'm just gonna roll with it. So then after she's like writing down like things on her paper, she's like, okay, you can proceed now. And so the first thing I did was parallel parking. And I did not know parallel parking was gonna come first, but the lady from the driving school that brought me down, she told me that parallel parking was gonna come first. I'm like, oh shoot. Literally, I was like, oh shoot, that's first. So then I proceed to parallel park. And I had 3 chances. So I'm parallel parking. And it was snowing. And, you know, every time, like, okay, so the first time I parallel parked, I hit the curb 3 times. I literally had 3 chances, and I hit the curb literally 3 times. I'm not kidding. And then the examiner had me pull over, and she's like writing down on her paper and looked at me. She's like, unfortunately, you did not pass because you couldn't park. And I looked at her, I'm like, I failed? She's like, you failed. And then she gives me the paper that she was writing down, and then she's like, have a nice day. And I got out of the car. And then my brother gets in the car, and, you know, he passed, and I was happy for him. Yeah. So then the second time I took my test, I was not as nervous as I was the first time. Yeah, I was not as nervous as I was the first time. I was like, you know what, like, I can do this. I know what to expect now. And oh my god, why am I so nervous to tell this story? Like, I don't get it. So the second time I was taking my test, I wasn't as nervous as I was the first time. And the week I was taking my driving test, I also had midterms going on. So I was like, oh crud, what is this gonna be? Because, you know, I had midterms going on and my driving test like in the same week. So I was like, you know what, I'll just focus on midterms first and then I'll worry about my driving test. So yeah. The second time I took my driving test, over winter break, I was practicing parallel parking with my cousin's car because my family and I, we do not own a small car. So my cousin was nice enough to let us use his car to practice parallel parking, and I think that actually helped. And yeah, so I was practicing as much as I did, and then the day before my driving test the second time, I met with my driving instructor and we reviewed everything. We reviewed parallel parking, K-turn, backing up, and we just reviewed everything that was going to be on the test. So, yeah. And then the next day was my test. And, you know, I went to bed really early because I knew I had to get up so early. I'm not kidding. So I went to bed early and I woke up at like 2 in the morning. I'm like, is it time yet? And then I was like, no, it's not time yet. And so then 2 hours later I got up. I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I also felt nervous too. So yeah, and then I'm on my way to the DMV with my mom and the lady from the driving school. And on my way there, like, I just have headphones in because I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to listen to music so that way I'm not stressed out. And so then when I get to the DMV, I was the first car again, and yeah, I'm just sitting there, and yeah, and then I see the examiner coming out, and, you know, same thing as last time, test our signals. And so then the examiner comes in on the passenger side, and I'm on the driver's side. And so then he said, oh, like, he's like, oh, are you nervous? And then I was like, not as I was the first time. And so then he's like, oh, you've been here before? And I was like, yeah, I was here before. And then he's like, oh, like, what happened? And I was like, oh, I failed parallel parking. And then he's like, that's not gonna happen. And I was like, no, it won't. And so then he's just writing down like everything like on his paper. And then I proceed to parallel park again. I think the first time I was like parallel parking, I think I wasn't really like close enough. And so then I pull out of the spot and then I park again. And I did good. And then I did a K-turn out of the parallel parking. And then I had to back up after I did the turn. And so then I just drove around the DMV. Like, I drove on one side, and then I drove, like, I exited, and then I entered back in. And then when I entered back into the DMV, I put the car in park, and then the examiners will, can't even talk. Then the examiner said, can you think of anything you did wrong? And I was like thinking really hard. And you know, I seemed to do everything right, like stopping at every stop sign and putting my blinker on. And when I was out in the street, somebody's trash can like rolled into the middle of the road. And then the examiner was like, okay, just go around it. And then the trash can like just rolled back out. Like it rolled back to where it was. And then the examiner was like, okay, you're good. And yeah. And as I came back in, he was asking me like, oh, what do you think you did wrong? You know, I feel like I did everything right. And then he's like, Julia, you know what you really need to work on? And right when he said that, I got so scared. Literally, I got so scared. I'm like, did I fail? And then he's like, you really need to work on your confidence. And I told him, like, yep, confidence is key. And you know, he's still writing on his paper. He's like, congratulations. And I was just so happy. Like, I'm not even kidding. And, yeah, I was just so happy, like, right when he said that. And, yeah. And, you know, I'm waiting in line to get my license. And I was like victory dancing. I'm not even kidding. I was victory dancing in line. And you know, my mom, she's texting my dad like, Julia passed. And then I get a text from my aunt and uncle like, oh, congrats, we heard you passed. And yeah, and I'm texting one of my friends while I'm online. I'm like, girl, I just passed. Like, you might want to watch out. Yeah. And so then my mom took a picture of me with my license in front of the American flag. So I will show you guys that picture right now. Yeah, so that was the picture my mom took. And I guess that's pretty much it for this story. If you guys have any crazy driving stories, please leave them in the comments below and let me know, because I would really like to hear some of your crazy driving stories. And comment below if you guys have your permit or your license, or if you're just about to start driving. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below and hit the notification bell as well, so that way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. And I guess that's pretty much it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Peace!